So, I wasn't really sure what to talk about today. I feel like there should be some sort of prompt on screen to remind me. Oh, that's right, drums. Now, do us a favour. Once we get through this video, I'm going to give you... It's going to be short. I'm going to give you some real basics on drums and my opinions on should you be level working for drums? Should it be the meta? I mean, I personally don't understand what the issue is with it, and I think you'll probably start to understand a little bit the way I think about it once we get through this video. But before we do, obviously make sure you like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications for more TBC content and, well, just general content, obviously. Check me out over on Twitch, Scottejaye87. We're doing a special BlizzCon line stream tomorrow night, so Friday, obviously when BlizzCon starts. Myself and Meta Goblin, we're having some beers, having a bit of a laugh, hoping for a TBC announcement, and hoping not just for a TBC announcement, but some juicy news as well. So let's get into my reasons for why I actually think drums are a good thing. So what people have been doing, which I really don't like, is comparing leatherworking to world buffs and saying it's like the new world buff meta. I mean, that's ridiculous because it takes no time. All it takes, alright, a little bit of gold, a little bit of preparation actually to level working, but you only do it once. It's not like you're having to go around and even farm. You'll be able to buy the drums off the auction house. You know, you have to do nothing. You just need to get the profession to the point where you can click on drums and they actually activate for the party. So that's it. That's the extent of the work. But I think to understand why I'm an advocate of it is worth, if we just look at some items first. So I appreciate this is a little bit on the fly, I'm not bothering too much with editing because this is, it's a very opinionated video. I know for a fact there's a massive portion of the community that absolutely hate drums, and they're going to hate me for even talking about drums and promoting the use of them. But I think no matter whether you're a casual guild or you're a super hardcore guild, it doesn't matter because surely you still want your character to be strong. You want to be able to do the best thing for your character to be able to do more damage, you know, rather than, well, if you don't, then obviously, yeah, you may be super casual. You must be like not bothered at all, in which case you might as well not even raid because you're not bothered about upgrades, clearly. You know, you might as well just, or raid because you like raiding for fun, but just pass the gear because you don't need it, clearly. You know, you don't need the gear to do better. Because if I put this on, now, this is a quick plug, actually, for 70upgrades.com that's launched. Obviously, probably know what 60 upgrades is, but if you want to start preparing and looking at your level 70 items for TBC, the database is up now, 70upgrades.com. As I say, check it out. I've been using it myself quite a lot recently. But let's have a look. So, Sunwell Plateau, Scottejaye, yeah? Last boss of the entire expansion. This is going to be the last boss you kill in the game before we go into Wrath of the Lich King. And it drops a cape, a spellcaster cape, which has got 32 haste. And then your drums give 80 haste rating. Okay, so that's just over 5%. So you're getting, I'm not going to say triple because it's not triple, it's less than that, but you know what I mean. You're getting double and then some of an item from the very last boss. Not only are you getting it, you're giving it to the entire party as well. So let's say that's the secondary stats, like the addition of the secondary stats to your characters, all 5 of you, for like 2.5 items, let's say, from Scottejaye, and you could be using these on Ataman in Karazhan, first boss in Karazhan, by the way. Now, that was just the first item I looked at. There's some that have got less, there's some that have got a little bit more, but you can see the strength of that 80 haste rating, and haste is really strong for pretty much all classes. There's not many classes that don't benefit in some way or another from haste. Now, I suppose people like choice in MMOs, and I think that's the problem. People like, well, there's professions there for a reason. I don't want level working. I'm a warlock. I want to go tailoring because I want to make the set. Why do you want to make the set? Why, if you're not bothered about min-maxing, why do you want to go tailoring to make your warlock set? Because all that's doing is giving you more stats, but you don't want to go level working that's going to give you more stats. That's the bit that I don't get. So unless you're going to go like herb and alchemy, you're a warlock, you're going to go herb and alchemy because that's just the professions that you want, then I understand. But if you're going tailoring because you want that big juicy set, but you don't want to go level working to actually enhance that set even further, because the way you can look at it is by going level working, you're sticking 80 haste on all your gear. You look at it as you're sticking 80 haste on your tailoring set if you like, whatever, it doesn't matter. But when you weigh up that versus the other option, so what are you going to go? You're going to go tailor and enchanting. Alright, enchanting's nice to have, but you can have it on an alt. Alright, you might not be getting the I don't know, the big, you know, mongoose enchant from Karazhan or whatever, you know what I mean? You know, but you could still DE stuff and make gold. So, yeah, everyone, by the time you're halfway through TBC, at the latest, I would say, most of us are going to have an ult. So the reason I use enchanting as like the direct competition, because technically we'll talk about dual crafting in a minute as well, but, you know, you're going to get spell power on your rings, which is very nice, but that's not doing anything for anybody else in your party. Now, what do you bring a shaman to a group for? You bring them to a group for their totems. If they said, well, no, I don't want to use totems, you know, I'll play how I want, I don't want to use totems, you wouldn't have them in your party. And you know, that could be a personal thing. You know, they want to do more damage. You know, their enhancement, they want to do more damage, can't be bothered to put their totems down because they see the global cooldowns as a DPS loss for whatever reason. You wouldn't have them in your party. So I don't get the whole, no, leatherworking's broken, you know, I don't want to be a cloth wearer who's leatherworking, blah, blah, because you still are probably going to go the profession that gives you the most benefit. Unless you're, again, if you're using it to make gold, I completely understand, you know, and fine, do what you want. You know, I'm tempted myself, even saying this, you know, I'm tempted myself by mining and jewel crafting, because I like jewel crafting. I don't mind flying around as a druid mining, you know, and making, you know, flipping a profit, you know, prospecting the ore, whatever, you know. It's a fun combo. I like it, and I will be doing it, but I'll be doing it on an ult. I don't want to miss out on the 80 haste. I'm not bothered. Forget the rest of the party now. Let's not worry about the rest of the party. Let's think about yourself. If there was an upgrade that dropped that's got 80 haste on it, would you want it? Of course you would want it. So I think about the options that there are outside of leatherworking. Think about how you could maybe have those options still, but just not on your main character, and try not to feel like you're a meta slave, because you're really not. You're just doing what's best for your class. These people who are saying, oh yeah, it's the top sweaty guilds that are going leatherworking and everybody else, you know, starts following suit. That's not it at all. I look at a profession and I go the profession that gives me the most gain. So if it was jewel crafting giving me the most gain, I would go jewel crafting. If it was enchanting, I'd go enchanting. But the 8 all stats versus 80 haste rating, I would say the 80 haste rating wins. But it'll win on short fights in dungeons, because you're gonna pop these in dungeons as well, remember. And we all like topping damage meters, don't we? So when you're in a dungeon and you're giving the whole party the 80 haste, but you forget that, you're getting it anyway. That, you know, that's what matters. You're gonna do more damage. You're gonna do more damage in dungeons. In raids, yep, you're gonna rotate them, so the raid now pretty much has a permanent 5% haste. I mean, that, you almost can't say no to it, especially when you've not got to do any work for it, other than max a profession. But no matter what profession you do, you're going to have to max anyway, so you might as well max leatherworking. Throughout my entire history of playing WoW, I've always gone the strongest professions. You know, it's no different to when we get to Wrath. In Wrath, if you're a DPS and you don't go engineering, then you are going to be gimping yourself. Not massively, you know, but you get the haste enchant use effect on your gloves. You get the rocket boots, so you can get in and out quicker. You're gonna go engineering. If you don't go engineering because you're like, well, you know, I'm not bothered about, let's call it min-maxing. You're not bothered about min-maxing. That's fine, but you are doing yourself a disservice, because why wouldn't you? Why go to all the effort of raiding hard content, wiping 50, 60 times on a boss, downing it, you know, an item drops, you get it. Why go to all that effort, but you're not willing to go to the effort to actually have your character set up in the optimal way? I would use it, and, you know, some of these examples you're going to shoot me down for in the comments, and I'm looking forward to reading them already, but I would compare it to talents. You wouldn't go in there with, like, some weird 15 in one tree, 20 in the other, you know, 28 in the other, whatever. You know, you wouldn't go in with a weird setup just because, well, I like to do a bit of healing, I like to do a bit of damage, I like to do a bit of tanking, you know. You still pick the closest thing to the cookie cutter spec that there is. So you're already a meta slave. If you're doing the same spec because you know it does the highest damage, then why wouldn't you do the same professions because they do the highest damage? I appreciate this is a bit of a ranty video, but it's all this drums hate that's going around. I personally don't get it, because there's always going to be the best professions to go that give you the most character power. It's leatherworking. So you might as well start now in Classic, get your leatherworking ready for TBC, because there'll be a lot of guilds that do require it. There'll be a lot of guilds that don't require it. And those guilds that don't require it probably don't require you to have enchants on your gear or gems in your gear to raid. Just saying. Let me know your thoughts on drums in the comments. And I know some of you are going to absolutely hate on me, which is great, because I don't care. I love a good argument. I'll argue with you in the comments, not a problem. And I know some of you will probably agree, and the ones that agree are probably engineering in Classic at the moment, getting ready to go leatherworking in TBC, ready to go back to engineering in Wrath of the Lich King, because they want their character to do the most damage physically possible. That's all I want. That's all most people want, because the more damage you do, the quicker the bosses die, the easier you get loot, the quicker you move on to the next boss. And, like I say, don't compare this to world buffs in comments, because it's not the world buff meta. It requires no effort. Once you've maxed that profession, you're done. You never need to do anything again other than maybe the occasional journey to the auction house to buy the drums. They got 50 charges. 50 charges. You know, they're going to last you a week. You probably have to go and buy one set a week, something like that, let's say. Let me know. Are you going leatherworking, or are you flat out not going leatherworking because you think you're too good for the leatherworking meta? I'm only kidding. I love you all. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow where we get back to the profession-specific guides for... I think I'm going to do Priest tomorrow, actually. So take it easy.